spirits up. A lot of times we tend to use these words to hurt people. We've seen it all the time especially in the schools nowadays, when you hear about children getting verbally bullied, and unfortunately some of these children commit suicide. Also, when a leader of a country gives a command to go to war, thousands of people die. So these words are very powerful, and God put it in my heart to talk about this because something happened to me with me and my wife. We had a heated argument, a heated fight, and so the words I told her, they really hurt her. They hurt her so much that it's not something I'm happy about, but it made her cry. So I wasn't too proud of that, and I really thought about what I've done. I've apologized, but unfortunately, the words had already left my mouth. It's too late to bring those words back. Once they're out, that's it. But I have apologized to her, and that's something that I wanted to talk about. Growing up, I remember growing up playing with my friends. A lot of our friends we would get in trouble, and I remember their parents would talk down to them and tell them, you know what, you're stupid, you're a troublemaker, you're good for nothing, you're worthy. And growing up, that's what these kids grew up to be. The parents didn't realize how much power in their tongues they had. Because a lot of these kids, they grew up to go, be gang members. A lot of them went to jail, and unfortunately, some of them died. So there's a lot of power in that tongue. How you speak to people, that's how they are. That's what they become. In the book of James describes the tongue as a destructive, fiery poison. It's on James chapter 3. Yes, verses 5 to 8. It says, in the same way, the tongue is a small thing.
What chapter?
Chapter 3,
Chapter 3,
verse 5 to 8.
Oh, 5.
James, book of James.
Everybody.
Well,
Yeah.
okay. Let's see. Pastor Ned, you want to read it, please? Verses 5 to 8.
I'm reading the King James Version. It says, even so, the tongue is a little member, and boasteth great things. Behold how great a matter a little fire kindleth. And the tongue is a fire, a world of iniquity. So is the tongue among our members, that it defileth the whole body, and setteth on fire the course of nature, and it is set on fire of hell. For every kind of beasts, and of birds, and of serpents, and of things in the sea is tamed, and has been tamed of mankind. But the tongue can no man tame. It is an unruly evil, full of deadly poison.
Can we have that in NLT, please?
Which one is it, 5 to 8?
5
Yeah.
to 8.
In the same way, the tongue is a small thing that makes grand speeches. But a tiny spark can set a great forest on fire. And the tongue is a flame of fire. It is a whole world of wickedness, corrupting your entire body. It can set your whole life on fire. For it is set on fire by hell itself. People can tame all kinds of animals, birds, reptiles, and fish, but no one can tame the tongue. It is restless and evil, full of deadly poison.
So after that little incident with my wife, I really, it really hurt me. It really hurt me, and it's something I wish I could take back, but I'm never going to be able to take back. Unfortunately, what is said is said. But I often think, back to the story of those kids. I mean, if those parents would have been different with their children, instead of saying bad things to them, being negative, what if they would have been more positive? These kids that ended up in jail or that ended up dead, if they would have been talking too positive, would they have grown up to be doctors, lawyers? If they would have been talking too positive. So I think that we need to really watch what we say at all times. Like it says, we need to speak in righteousness. In Psalms 35, verse 28.
Psalm 35,
Verse 28.
28. Okay.
You want to read it, maybe?
You want to read?
Just a moment.
Give me an LT, please.
NLT?
Yeah.
Tell me when she's there.
That's 20.
28.
35, verse 28.
35, 28. So. Okay. It says, then I will proclaim your justice.
No.
No.
35.
Oh, 35.
35.
Sorry, took the wrong one.
28.
35.
28.
Okay.
That's the one I
I thought I was
have.
wrong.
35, 28. Yes.
Psalms?
Say it here.
Psalms?
Psalms.
Psalms 35.
28.
28.
Yeah.
Okay, read. Please.
It says, then I will proclaim your justice and I will praise you all the day long.
No?
No?
Is the
No. It's the one.
Yeah, that's it.
Let's have it in another
You
translation.
want,
Another,
okay, you want
yeah.
King James?
Yes.
Okay, and my tongue shall speak of the righteousness and of thy praise all the day long. Amen.
Yes. And speaking of the word, we all know who the strongest word was. Who has the strongest word, right? God has the strongest word, and His name is Jesus Christ. And everything that Jesus did, most of His healings were by word, right? He stood in Lazarus' tomb in his cave, and he didn't go in there to grab Lazarus. He stood at the foot of the cave and he asked Lazarus to come out. Those were words that Jesus spoke. So not only in speaking in righteousness, but we should speak in God's wisdom. And in Psalms 37, verse 30, I'll read this one.
You read that?
Yeah, I'll read this one.
37.
Psalm 37.
Psalms 37. 37. 37, verse 30.
Verse 3.
Verse 30.
There we
So the mouth of the righteous speaks wisdom, and the tongue talks of justice. So,
Amplified says the mouth of the righteous proclaims wisdom, and his tongue speaks justice and truth.
yes. So I think everybody wants to hear good words to them. I know my wife likes to hear when I tell her I love her. I think it brings a smile to me. You know, and your children, you know, we gotta watch, you know, mothers, we gotta watch how we talk to our children. Not only mothers, but fathers. I say more mothers because there's more women here than men. But, you know, mothers, you know, you need to know, you need to see how we speak to our children. They're like little sponges. You know, they absorb everything. You know, any negative things we say, they absorb it. You know, how about let's talk words of love, of encouragement. You know, nothing negative, positive, nothing but positive things to our children. So I want to close with this last verse. I want to close with Matthew chapter 12.
Well,
12 verses 36 and 37.
Turban.
Ready? But I say to you, for every idle word men may speak, they will give an account of it on the day of judgment. For by your words you will be justified, and by your words you will be condemned. So, like I said, not only is God watching what we do, but He's also watching what we say. So, like I said, we need to watch what we say. And because I said, the day that I get judged, you know, I want God to tell me that He is proud of me and welcome me home. So I gotta watch what I say. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
Yes.